This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, I'm Alex Bennett and this is the Ramble, and we go until midnight tonight from New York, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, out to San Francisco, California, and the lovely strains of Larry Brown and his orchestra. Hello, Larry.
Yes, I'm moving up on Phil Spitolny and his all-girl orchestra.
And by the way, you know, Bubbles holds a world record, which you're familiar with what I'm talking about.
Yes. See,
the longest, because I was watching some old Letterman stuff before I came on here on YouTube, and all I could, what I said to my wife, Marjorie, I just remembered her name, was that I said, I'm going to talk to Bubbles, and he does hold the record for the longest time between appearances on that show. Unless you never appeared again, were never asked back again. But you were asked to come back again.
Yes, 21 years later.
And 21 years later, you thought you had enough material.
I literally could have done the same set from the first show. And nobody would have noticed.
Nobody would have noticed. That's really quite amazing. And it shows the fact that you actually had the complete will to fail in comedy. Where other people are pushy and they push their way to the top, you were kind of like really grinding your way to the middle.
Yeah, that's. I've noticed that when I started out, I noticed so many of the comics, they just had this incredible drive and just clawing their way to the top, and that was not me.
Well, that lack of drive, I mean, it's too bad, but then again, you probably wouldn't be the comic on stage you are if you were more aggressive.
No.
You know? What in you do you think makes you that non-aggressive?
I just like to be left alone, so that's why comedy wasn't to get fame, it was to get out of a day job. So
yeah,
it was, if that makes any sense, because
no,
I you never had day jobs. I don't think you were always in radio. So.
Well, I mean, look, if you're going to be particular about it, yeah, it's absolutely a job. You know, I was hired, I get paid, I go to work, I have to go to work for a certain amount of hours every day, you know, it's a job. But it's not the traditional job. It's not the job you take because you got to bring home the bacon. It's the kind of job you have because it's something you love.
Well, I think to me the lure for show business was I thought the short hours when I used to watch Hollywood Squares, and I thought, those guys, they only work half an hour a day. Then I found out, no, they tape like 10 shows a day, so they only work one day every 2 weeks. Oh, my God, that'd be great. What a business, you know.
It is a great business. I mean, in radio, of course, it was, at least at that time, a business where you had to be there every morning at 6 in the morning and work for 4 hours, and you had to be there. The one thing I didn't like about radio is your life was dictated by where the transmitter was. You know, I don't know if people understand what I'm saying, but that in a lot of other businesses you could just take your business with you, right? Like with comedy, you can take your comedy with you. You can go to Sacramento, and then you can go to Des Moines and whatever. With me, I had to stay in San Francisco because I was attached to a transmitter. And also my fame was only local. You know, today it's national because most people are like syndicated and so on and so forth. But in those days, it wasn't. So I was, you know, people say, boy, you're really killing this town, man. And I killed in San Francisco. There's no question about it. We were very famous and very well known. You couldn't go anywhere without being accosted. I couldn't go anywhere without being accosted. There was free dinners here and free dinners there and a little pussy on the side, I mean, but then you moved out of the city limits and forget it. Nobody knew who I was,
Yeah, looking back, I'm surprised that your show wasn't syndicated.
Well, I tried, and I was promised it by the powers that be at Live 105 that when I decided not to go to Washington, D.C. to work with Mel Karmazin and hopefully get the same treatment he gave Howard Stern, because I decided I didn't want to let the people down in San Francisco. I was promised that they would syndicate me, Live 105 and Entercom, which was the company, and they never did. So, but and then they wound up asking me to leave the premises, So, I mean, it was really, the thing is about doing local radio in those days is that outside the city limits, you were, nobody knew who the hell you were.
Right.
Yeah, I will have to admit that I was driving upstate in California, and I was coming home one night. I can't remember where it's from. It's probably Gualala, and because I had a girlfriend who lived up there, or had parents had a home up there, and I was coming back, and a cop pulls me over for speeding, and then he looks in the car and he says, "Oh, you're Alex Bennett." Now, I found that unusual because this was like 300 miles upstate.
Wow.
Okay, and he said, well, I'll let you off with a warning. Great show.
Wow.
And that's the only time I ever really think I got anything out of being a local personality.
You saved one ticket.
I would have people, I would go into restaurants and people would say to me, "Oh, well, don't, Alex, we'll take care of this. Don't think anything of it." And I went, "Look," I said, "if somebody who was really broke and on his heels came in here, you wouldn't suddenly say, 'You're not paying for the meal.' I said, 'Do that for somebody else. Do that for somebody who needs it.' I said, 'I make a good living. I don't need a free lunch.' I said, 'The day may come when I'm a total failure and I come in here and I need some food, then you can feed me for free.'"
Somebody said that about America. They said they always give you stuff when you don't need it.
Well, no, if you're really popular and you're making a fortune,
they want to give you more stuff.
You don't pay for anything. And I always had to tell people, no, don't comp me. I want, I'll tell you what I did though. I would say, don't comp me. And if they still insisted, rather than be, what could I call it? I don't know, nasty about it. I just said, "Oh, okay." I gave in, But basically, I would always say, "No, I don't need this. I'm making a lot of money. I came in here because I can afford a meal here with my friends and so on. And please don't comp me." So I did not like being comped. I also felt maybe that made me owe them something.
Exactly, yeah.
And I don't owe anybody nothing.
You used to take us to, what was that place? We'd go to breakfast after the show, the Stuffed Bagel.
Yeah, Stuffed Bagel. We had to deal with the Stuffed Bagel, and we fed everybody every morning after the show.
That was fun.
Yeah, we used to have, it was kind of like a comedy get-together, And I remember one morning we're having breakfast there, and Jay Leno is pontificating about comedy to all these younger comics, which was the obnoxious Jay Leno we've all come to know and hate.
But he was a great comic then.
Oh, man. Oh. I mean, Feldman and I we went down to the Frost Amphitheater to see Jay Leno. And we were comped, by the way. And we sat on that lawn, and he did 2 hours. And after it was all over, I mean, Feldman and I were both gobsmacked at how good he was.
Yeah.
And how he could hold an audience for 2 hours. You know, most comics did 45 minutes.
So, yeah, that's longer than a movie. So
Yeah, 2 hours. And he would start off his act by doing topical, of-the-moment material. So you thought that everything else that followed it was fresh as well. So about 15 minutes in the act, he's not doing the new stuff. He's starting to go to the old stuff, the tried and true stuff, and everybody thinks it's fresh. I mean, it just an amazing stand-up. And then he went and did The Tonight Show, and now he sucks. I mean, what makes him think he can do You Bet Your Life? Come on.
yeah,
You know?
But when he got to the Tonight Show, he took his edgy stuff away.
Well, he took the edgy stuff away, but more than that, he wanted everybody to love him. You know, most of all NBC. So he did anything he could to keep NBC happy. You know, it was very sad. Very sad what happened to him.
How do you think Letterman would have done if he'd gotten that spot,
Gotten what spot?
the Tonight Show?
You know, I think what happened to him is much better. Because if he went to NBC, did the Tonight Show, there are certain things that would be expected out of him. When he went to CBS, they didn't have anything, you know, so he could do anything he damn pleased, you know, and didn't have to consider the head honchos and so on. I think he did better by going where he went, you know, and he didn't want to go there. He didn't want to take the CBS deal. He wanted the Tonight Show.
He wanted that spot.
And he was told by who was Carson's producer, not the Cordova, the
LaSalle.
LaSalle. He was told by Peter LaSalle that you know, you don't want the Tonight Show now. You know, especially when Leno had done it for a short time, and then they were talking about giving it to Letterman. They said, you don't want it now. That show's been spoiled. You know, it's been ruined. And then he called Johnny. And Johnny told him, hey, if they were doing to me what they're doing to you, I'd leave in a second.
Really?
And
wow.
So he went over to CBS, you know. And ultimately, I mean, Leno wound up getting the ratings, but CBS was making so much money anyway off of Letterman that he was probably the big winner. I mean, all along, Letterman was getting a bigger paycheck than Leno was ever getting.
Oh, he got huge money on
because
that,
he was of value to CBS because they had nothing. They had stuff in that time slot. It just never worked. I mean, they had the Pat Sajak show, which I remember, and it was it didn't last very long. You know.
No, we both thought he was going to be good.
Well, I interviewed. I've talked about this. Had interviewed him years earlier, and I thought he had a really snarky, bitter sense of humor.
He did, and he was funny, and
Yeah.
he had a broadcast background like Carson.
Yeah, yeah. And I thought, I also thought, and as you just mentioned it, you see, I think that the trouble is that a lot of times to do that kind of show, people go out and say, well, let's hire a comic. But a comic isn't what you want. What you want is a broadcaster. I mean, Letterman was a broadcaster.
Right.
Okay? And what you want is a broadcaster. You don't want a comedian to host those shows because they think differently than a broadcaster does. And a broadcaster thinks like, I've told you I think, that you're going to be there tomorrow night. Don't top the comic. Be fun, not funny. I I mean, if you look at Letterman, all his stuff was based on having fun. Just before coming in here, we were watching a whole bunch of his bits he did called How's the Weather, in which he would just go into phone books from various parts of the country. And I told Marjorie, I said, we couldn't do that today because there's no such thing as a phone book anymore.
Yes.
Right? And they would say, okay, we're calling Racine, Wisconsin. Let's riffle through it. Let's point. Okay, here's a number, and they'd call it. Half the time, the phone call wouldn't even go through. The other half the time, people weren't answering. When they finally did, it became hilarious. Mm-hmm. But the thing was, this thing was so simple in concept, and all he's doing is calling these people to say, how's the weather? And only a broadcaster would come up with that kind of concept. You know, a comedian hosting the show would say, well, how are we going to make funny out of this? And Letterman was just fun, and he could pull it off, you know. So how's everything else in San Francisco? Is it still getting to be more and more miserable?
Yeah, I think the mayor finally realized it's not a good idea to let people steal $1,000 from stores. So they're trying to correct that. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Wait a minute, what's this about stealing $1,000 from stores?
It's $900. You can go to a store and take $950 worth of merchandise, and if you do that, you don't even get arrested.
In what world is that practical?
Yeah, I guess it's under $950 is considered a misdemeanor, and we don't prosecute misdemeanors anymore. So.
Oh my God!
So they've closed the biggest stores for Walgreens. People go into Walgreens and do that, and so they've closed 22 Walgreens here
because of the theft.
Yeah, that's a lot of stores. I didn't know there were that many Walgreens.
Wow!
They've closed 22. So.
Wow! I think our new district attorney isn't going to prosecute. I think even in some cases murder. I don't. You know. I mean. I'm sorry. Are we old farts when we say that's kind of a crime?
Yeah, that's not going to work out well.
So in other words, Walgreens went out of business because people were stealing from them.
Well, they didn't go out of, but they've closed 22 stores. But there's still a few left. But yeah, they would have gone out of business. They just kept going like that.
How about my Walgreens down in the marina? Is that still open?
That one's still open.
Oh,
yeah.
Good. Okay, because that was my drugstore. That's where I went to buy all my drugs. Well, that and a guy on a street corner, but you know, it's another kind of drug I was buying. So that boy, and how's the homeless problem in San Francisco?
Yeah, I'm still dealing with that. It's. I've noticed that some people have sprouted tents up around the Safeway, Marina Safeway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they're living around there now, but they usually come by and stop that after a while.
Safeway, for people who don't live in California, is a grocery chain. I don't think they have them outside of California, do they?
I don't think so. No.
You know, and that was my local supermarket. That's where I went for all my stuff because they were open 24/7. So.
And it always had a reputation of being a great place to pick up women, which I never, in my entire life, I never saw anyone get picked up in that Safeway.
Didn't we do a bit about that on the radio?
I think
show?
we talked about it.
Yeah, about it's pickup night down at Safeway.
It was supposed to be Wednesday night at Safeway. That was it.
Was it Wednesday night at 6?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You go down there if you want to get picked up if you're a woman and want to meet guys and. Very, very strange Safeway.
Interesting name, Safeway. Does that mean that their food wasn't poison? What? Why did they pick that name?
Yeah, where did they come up with that name?
Or maybe a lot of stores were selling tainted merchandise 100 years ago. I don't know.
Well, you know what I remember? What was that? Fry's. Now, what do you think of when I say Fry's? As a store.
Fry's.
Yeah.
I think of the great electronics store.
Yeah. Do you know what it started out as? A supermarket.
Really?
Yes, it was a supermarket chain.
I didn't know that.
And when electronics came in, I think they sold a couple electronics in their supermarket. Before you knew it, they became an electronics store as opposed to a supermarket. Yeah.
Well, they were great at the. They just closed a big one down in Sunnyvale.
No, they closed Fry's completely. I mean,
yeah.
That was my temple. I would go down there, and it was in case people don't know what I'm talking about. This was a super huge electronics store. I mean,
two football fields.
Everything you ever wanted in electronics, from TV sets to a fuse, was at Fry's. And I would go down there just to walk the aisles and look at everything. And usually I'd wind up buying something,
Amazing store. I loved it.
Yeah, they went out of business. And I don't know why the reason for it, but I would say probably something like Amazon or whatever.
It's got to be Amazon, yeah.
Where, you can buy all that same stuff now by walking the aisles at Amazon, as it were. But I started thinking about a lot of things that have changed in our lives. And I mentioned a moment ago the phone book. There are no phone books anymore, are there?
No. They used to send them out. They don't send them out anymore.
There's no yellow pages. Remember, you go to the yellow pages. Look up. Need a grocery store. Go to the yellow pages.
The internet killed a lot of businesses.
Oh my God, have they? And
what have they killed? Well, they killed travel agents. They killed Fry's. They killed newspapers.
Yeah, I mean, all of this, but then again, that's just time passing. You got to remember, when I'm talking about, the yellow pages are gone, what happened to the yellow? Hey, I'm 82 years old. I'm talking about when I was a kid, there was a phone book, okay? To a kid today, you mention phone book, they don't even know what you're talking about.
Didn't people used to say, what's your phone number? And you'd say, I'm in the book.
That's right. That's right. And, well, what's your name? Well, that's in the book, too. That was the follow-up line on that one. But, it's just times change and things change. And what I did, I may have already done this bit on the air. I was going through my phone contacts. I almost said phone book. I was going through my phone contacts, and my phone contacts are. I'm going through them because I had to figure out who I wanted to put in a certain list and so on. I'm going through them. I'm going, dead,
wow,
dead,
really,
dead, dead. And I decided that maybe I should, maybe I've done this already, folks, on the air, go through my phone list and get rid of all the dead people and the people that I haven't, talked to in years. But do you have people in your, well, you don't have do you have your phone, do you have numbers in your phone?
I do.
You have a flip phone.
I also have a little book that has old numbers in it.
Okay. Now, is it wrong that you feel that maybe you shouldn't? Like my friend Steve Gruber, he's been dead for 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. I still have his phone number. And I'm going, if I get rid of it, am I erasing the memory?
Yeah, that's why I don't delete them, because I like to keep a memory. And I've often thought about calling the couple numbers. I thought I'd like to call and see if someone else has their number now.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I have a lot of people on my phone that are dead, and I'm going, why am I keeping their name in here? Why can't I get rid of it? Why can't I delete it?
Yeah, I would keep them. It's a good memory.
I guess, but it also fills out your phone list innumerably.
Well, when you have more dead than alive, it might be time to do a little trimming.
Yeah. So anything else that's gone forever that we don't? I imagine if the BlackBerry, they got rid of the BlackBerry. You never even got into that technology.
I'm not even sure what was the BlackBerry.
It was basically a messaging system. where we now call it text.
It wasn't a phone. It was just text.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would use my BlackBerry to call your BlackBerry, and then I would, on this keyboard, type in a message. I'll meet you downtown, whatever. And
I know the guy that he named the BlackBerry.
What's his name?
Mark Hershon.
Mike Hershon. He works for a company that makes up these names. He came up with.
They make up names, yeah. I said, "How'd you come up with BlackBerry?" He said, when he looked at it, he said it looked like a BlackBerry.
Oh, okay, all right. And he also, I think, came up with the name Swiffer as well.
Swiffer.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, we've run out of time here.
It's just flown by.
I just talking with you is just an absolute delight, Larry.
It is. I don't. As long as I don't depress you, I'm happy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Bubbles Brown. Bye, Larry.
C'est Gabnet, la grande broadcast network ricain. Parler radio comme vous n'en avez jamais entendu.
I thought we'd just play our French version of it for the hell of it. Anyway, hello everybody. How are you? Welcome to our Friday night version of the Ramble, and we have some people waiting for us in the waiting room of our Zoom, and so I think maybe it is just time for us to bring them in here. Hold on a second. Let me push admit all. Okay, I admit all. I did this, I did that. Wait a minute. Oh, well, Kevin has just disappeared there. Somebody's got their audio up. No, it's not you. I think it's Kevin, and he's not there. So let me see here. I can mute him. Let me see how I mute him. Here.
Just fucking block him.
There we go. Oh, ask to unmute. Yeah. Well, anyway, we muted him. Yeah. That's my audience, folks. They don't care about me. They don't love me. They just, they just Zoom me and then they leave. Okay. Here he comes. I muted you, Kevin. Can you hear me, Kevin? Yeah, I muted you. You have to unmute yourself because you left your audio going. Wait a minute here. Hold on a second. Let me see here. Ask to unmute. Okay, I'm asking you to unmute. Okay.
I texted him there and told him.
Yeah, you just got to go. You just go to where the microphone is, and you can unmute it.
Well, it would have been fine if he hadn't left his audio on.
Yeah, you left your audio on, so we had to mute you. That's the...
Let's see. I'll figure this out here in a minute. Let me see here.
I think you got it. I think you got it. Ask Jeff. He'll tell you how to do it. Ask Jeff.
Guess what?
What?
I'm in operation. No problem.
Jeff, what do I do?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Yeah.
Restart it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so it's a big
Get
day.
a bag of potato chips.
It's a big day today. We got our refrigerator. They actually got it up.
Oh, great.
I don't know if that's what she said. Right. He finally got it up. No, the thing was, in case people are not aware of this, we wanted to buy a refrigerator. So we had this one we really wanted. It looked good. It had kind of all the electronics you like in the thing and whatever. And our super comes up to disconnect the water, and he looks at he said, "What did you get?" And we said, "Got this." And he said, I said, "What's wrong with it?" He says, "Nothing wrong with it. It won't fit in the elevator." So I even with the doors off, it won't fit in the elevator. So so he said, he looked around and he said, here's a Whirlpool that's just the right dimensions. So we went and got it. Okay. And they came today, and sure enough, at about an inch to spare, the thing got through the elevator door. It's not exactly state of the art. Okay, it doesn't have any bells and whistles electronically that I like and something like that. But hey, what does a refrigerator have to do? It has to make ice, which this thing is barely doing yet, and it has to keep things frozen and keep things cold, right? That's all it needs to do, you know. So what do you need the bells and whistles for? So, but
Hey, where I live, you could just set the shit outside and it'd be rock solid in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I told Marjorie, I said, look, you know, if we just turn off the heat, tomorrow we can just take all the frozen foods out of there before they get here and not worry about it, you know?
It's 5 degrees here. So.
Yeah, open the windows and the frozen foods will stay frozen. So will we, however, you know. But anyway, so we got this thing and it's fine, you know. It's just it's slowly making ice, and I don't know why it's slowly making ice. But the super told us that it may take a day before it really starts spewing out the ice. So we'll wait, you know. I don't care because the reason I wanted to make the ice is Marjorie freezes her ice in cubes, in trays, and then she empties the tray out into a bowl, a metal bowl, which sits in the refrigerator, taking up a great deal of space. So now, if we can get this thing to make cubes, she doesn't have to do that anymore, and we can have more space in the refrigerator. But
you really want a lot from your refrigerator, don't you?
Yeah, well, Marjorie, you know, she bakes. When she makes like a soup or a stew or something like that, she doesn't just make one, like 2 portions, one for me and one for her. She has these army cauldrons, right? And she cooks in those pots, and then she puts them in the refrigerator, taking up all the space you possibly can take. And so now we're going to have to do something about that. She's going to have to... I told her, look, I don't mind if you only make soup for 10, okay? You know, I'm really not going to complain. But she really doesn't like to, you know? So, what the hell? So anyway, we got that. And then our landlord got the old refrigerator out of our place and took it down in the elevator because he took the doors off and everything. And it just, man, it was, you couldn't have put a hair in there, you know. In fact, the hair might have given it some friction, you know. I mean, it was just something else. But anyway, we're fine now. So we have a new stove and a new refrigerator, and you know, we're pretty much good to go. So, you know, we've redone our kitchen, and our super came up and helped us. I gave him $100 today because he hauled away the old refrigerator on top of everything else. What? What was that?
That was my text that I didn't mute. Sorry about that.
What is that sound you have?
That's so distracting tonight. Jeez.
What is?
I know. I feel like Ray.
2 points. You're gonna have to go to like final written warning after the next. Fucking gonna point out.
Yeah. But anyway, so you know, that's my big. You see, it's what happens when you're my age. The big thrill is, hey, Gary, guess what? We just got ourselves a refrigerator. Oh, you know.
You want to speak about old age?
But I like the stove better than I like the refrigerator. But don't tell the refrigerator that.
Oh, glasses.
You know. What?
Brian's got glasses.
Brian? Glasses?
Yes.
When did you get those?
We had the kids had their shots today. Their boosters.
Mm-hmm.
And we were goofing off, and I picked up these and said, "Oh yeah, my stepfather, he used to buy these, just the cheap ones, you know,
yeah,
for reading."
Well, that's all you need
then
because
I put them on, and I was like, "Holy crap, man! This thing is so clear."
Yeah, that's what happens when you get older, there, buddy.
So you haven't been.
I had to buy them. The $30 in Foster Grants, and man, everything is so clear.
There are two.
I get it perfect, like here,
Yeah.
And I started
Brian.
again. I'm like, oh my god.
Brian, did you get your AARP yet?
Yeah, I haven't mailed that stuff in. I keep getting. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, well, get the card. You get your discounts at Denny's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get discounts on hotels. Yeah, wherever we travel. Yeah.
And at nursing homes
And some
everywhere.
stupid card. They give me a card. I don't know what to do with it.
Well, anyway,
It's
the thing
fake
is,
one. You got to pay money.
the thing is, now that you know that you need glasses and haven't been willing to admit it up until today.
I'm not
Okay.
admitting it.
Oh,
I'm just keeping them
well,
around.
you know, there are two things you, in life as you get older you have to admit, and once you do, you feel better about things. One is that you need glasses. And when I've decided I need them, I asked the ophthalmologist, what do I need? And they said, you just need magnifiers. Don't buy them here at our fancy eyeglass store. Just go down to any drugstore and start putting them on till something feels good, right?
Amazon, 5
CVS,
pairs.
five,
5
yeah.
pairs for $12.
Yep.
I
My
throw
fa-
them all over the house.
My favorite of these with a little. See, I like this thing here. I don't know why, but these are 3 for I don't know, $20 or $15 or
These are Nike fakes, man. 5 of them for $12, and I threw them all over the
Yeah.
house. One in my truck.
Yeah,
that's what I did.
and the point is, the reason you need these, the cheap ones, the cheap magnifiers, is you're always going to lose your glasses,
Yep.
and you're always going to, like I say, okay, I'm going to leave a bunch of glasses here where I do the work, and then I'll have glasses by the bed and whatever, and eventually I've got 5 glasses sitting by the bed. Because I put them on and I'm walking around, and all of a sudden I take them off and I go, I'm going to go to sleep now, and there's another pair, right? So.
Yeah, Tiffany had. So I can see long fine, and I guess because I'm old now, but my closely. But Tiffany had to get glasses because she has problems seeing a long distance. So.
Well, that's probably why you did so. That's Tiffany's your wife, right?
Well, yes, soon to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that or soon to be wife. But you better be glad she was bad of seeing.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's why she's acting different lately with the glasses.
She was blurry faced, like he didn't see that.
No, I thought I looked so nice, no wrinkles, and then I look at this thing, I see all my pores and everything. I'm like, what the hell?
You thought you were looking pretty damn good, didn't you? Well, let me put on my glasses and look at you. Oh my God.
And but I always used to wonder why people look like this when they're doing stuff, and I'm like, I was doing that for like 10 minutes, and all of a sudden I looked up and I go, what the hell? That's what I'm
Alex needs glasses to find the new refrigerator.
Well, the other thing you're going to do eventually, I don't know if it'll happen to you. It doesn't look like it's going to happen to you. But one day you've lost enough hair that you finally say, I'm going to shave it on top of my head. You know? That's what?
Nothing. I got hair on the side of my head, nothing on the top.
Yeah, well, you should shave some of that off. Just
But most people don't see the
Wait,
top of my head 'cause I always wear a ball cap. I don't care.
Robert Schimmel, now another dead comic, said to me once, he said, why don't you just cut your hair short on the side, just short all over? And I said, why? He says, it's preemptive baldness. What it does is it's not like you're admitting anything. It's just that it doesn't. If you have a lot of long hair here and nothing on top, you look like Danny DeVito, you know. But if you just cut it short all around, it doesn't look as bald. Yeah. So now, in your case, Brian, I think you're one of those horrible people that's never going to completely lose his hair.
My mother's father, Italian, and had I like how mine's thinning on top, and it's the wavy, so it's just like him. Yeah.
Yeah, but by the time I was your age, I had had a significant loss, you know. So, whatever. And look at Vernon. He's got a full head of hair, right, Vernon?
Yeah.
But you're in the
now, too.
you're in one of the most infected states in the union, aren't you?
I think so, as far as positivity rate.
Yeah. What is the positivity rate?
Wow.
Last week it was 29.6%.
Holy
Wow.
shit.
Yeah.
Around here, it's around.
Yeah, but you got to remember there are only 3 people in Kentucky.
And 2 of them are
and
senators.
2 of them are cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Now I started wearing my N95 mask at Home Depot now instead of just one of those washable cloth masks. I've got my N95 on today when I'm there.
The N95s are considered to be the thing now, right?
Gold standard.
Yeah.
I hate them. Just hate them. To begin with, it takes two straps to put them on, and I can't figure out which one goes on top, which one goes on the... Do I use it as a chin strap? You know?
No?
Yeah. I mean, I wish they would come out with like an N95 that was... Maybe had the ones where the straps still go around the ears. One strap goes around the ears, but...
I'd like to talk about N95 for a minute. So you gotta...
You would you? Really?
The thing with N95 that, Vernon, is it's got to fit your face right. In the medical profession, doctors and nurses, they get several brands or several sizes, and some doctors, it's got to fit around, you don't have facial hair here, but you got a mustache, but it's got to fit your face right. And if it doesn't fit tight on the sides or around you, then it becomes as worthless as a cloth mask. If the cloth mask fits you better, you can always wear a surgical mask over that if you want. But N95s are a pain. I mean, I got a bunch of them here, but I don't wear them unless I go to Costco, and they're uncomfortable.
Well, I'm thinking about how, to begin with, we do know that if you, they today said that Omicron, the vaccine is 90% effective against Omicron.
In some people.
No, 90% effective overall if you've had your booster shot.
Yeah.
Okay. So knowing that, I mean, why should I care about whether my mask is tight enough or not?
See, I'm going to assume, Alex, that you, like most people, get your COVID advice from the news.
No, I don't. I don't get my COVID advice from... I get it all from you, Alan.
Well,
I get it all from you because you have become the expert on this.
And listen to what Dr. Fauci or Dr. Gottlieb has to say. You get it directly from their lips. And you don't... The news... Fox News says you don't need a mask, and MSNBC says you need 7 masks.
Hey, Fauci changes his ideas all the time. I mean, a year ago we were told the regular masks were fine. People were making their own, and they were wearing handkerchiefs over their mouths and so on.
So Brian will probably agree with this. Data changes constantly in science and in medicine. So a year ago, any mask is better than no mask, and some masks are better.
What I'm saying is, I think so far as infection is concerned, we are on the tail end of this.
And if you're, like you said, you got your vaccines and boosted, the chance of you becoming really sick and need hospitalization or death is slim. But with Omicron is bypassing a lot of people are having breakthrough infections, but are not getting really sick.
Well, guess who didn't have a breakthrough infection and is dead now from COVID?
Donald Trump? That would be great.
No. Meatloaf.
Oh yeah.
And he was against the government mandates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, don't let the door kick you in the ass on the way out.
Kidding.
Okay. Don't let it hit you on the way out the human door.
Who was it?
Meatloaf.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Bat out of hell,
Yeah. Well, bat in hell now. So
I didn't know he was against them.
Yeah. I love this. I love this. Today we lost 2 people. We lost Meatloaf and we lost Louis Anderson.
Yeah.
And they say comedy legend Louis Anderson. How many here consider Louis Anderson a comedy legend? Yeah.
I think it was funny, but not a legend.
No, he's not. No George Carlin.
Yeah, but comedy legend Louis Anderson died today. They just throw these terms around. I guess it was musical legend Meatloaf, which is probably more, well, it's maybe more applicable than comedy legend Meatloaf.
Are they gonna say youth guru when you pass away?
When I go,
that term again?
when I go, they're gonna say, "Who's Alex Bennett?"
Right.
I'm sure
He was the guy that complained about the refrigerator for seconds.
I'm sure that when I go, you know how you're always surprised, and like I was surprised that when what's his name died, oh God,
Saget.
Bob Saget
yeah.
died. I knew that people would feel bad about it, but I didn't know it would get the national acclaim that it did, you know? And you're very surprised when all of a sudden these people get it. And it's because everybody,
on TV too.
well, everybody liked him.
Yeah.
Everybody liked him.
He was
Nobody
a
had a
great
bad thing to
comedian.
say about Saget. But what I'm saying is, I didn't expect that he would get that kind of send-off, okay?
He looked good.
Huh?
He was
He
young.
always looked good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
And
a
I
good
think that's
comic. He was
part
on
of his
TV. You know,
skill.
a lot of people knew his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Unlike Alex Bennett, nobody knows his
Nobody
name.
knows who the fuck I am. Nobody cares. You know, I went through the 5 stages of show business, which was, who's Alex Bennett? That's stage 1. Stage 2 is, oh, that's Alex Bennett. The next stage, 3, was, get me Alex Bennett. Okay. Stage 4 was, get me an Alex Bennett type. And stage 5 was, who's Alex Bennett? So, you know, those are the 5 stages of fame.
I thought there was a fuck Alex Bennett somewhere. Put
So,
in there.
well,
Who the fuck was Alex Bennett?
what? What'd you say? What'd you say, Vernon?
No, it's the 5th stage should be who the fuck was Alex Bennett?
Yeah, well, that's probably what it's going to be, you know.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was in a 5-vehicle accident in Los Angeles today.
Oh.
Was he hurt?
Yes. At
Did he have
4:30
his-
on Sunset Boulevard. It just popped up here. I don't know.
Did he have his donkey with him?
I don't know.
What do you mean his donkey?
Yeah, I don't know what the donkey thing is.
Yeah.
He's got a donkey that runs around in his house.
Really?
Yeah, he's kind of a nut.
You think?
So anyway, hi, Josh. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh yeah, Josh's team is still in the playoffs. Ah.
Yeah.
What
lot
playoff?
better
Can I
than
ask you what
Cowboys.
playoffs are that?
Eagle.
Almost time to take the Cowboy Nation sign down, Charlie.
Well, I'm having to put up with Australian tennis in this house. You know.
Oh.
The guy sued. The famous tennis player is suing Australia for $6 million.
Yeah. Well, a lot of luck with that.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, let's face it. They could do anything they goddamn please. They're a country. You know.
Their country.
He is probably guaranteed that he will never be allowed back.
Oh yeah, yeah. Unless he wins the suit. You know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's likely.
yeah, but I don't I don't understand why he was the way he was. You know, he could have just, and it looks like they're not going to let him in for the French Open or Wimbledon. You know,
Suspended before the lawsuit. He was suspended for 3 years in Australia, and other countries are saying, "Well, we're going to stick with Australia. We're not going to let him in either."
well, didn't he learn that he went to court and he didn't win?
Yep.
You know, I mean,
I guess
Well,
he's
Trump
got.
did that 60 times and he's still trying.
Yeah.
I hope they whipped him when he got back to Serbia.
yeah. I wonder if the papers if they're going to call them serving a paper and he's going to hit it with a tennis racket. Oh, forget it. I can't do jokes anymore either. I'll just sit here while you guys talk.
Did we hear the revelation about the document dump today?
What about the document dump?
Oh.
Did it come out of Trump's
the
ass? What is what?
One of the
What?
documents that got delivered today from the archives to the committee was a draft executive order that was put together by unknown person, and this was to have the Secretary of Defense seize the voting machines in those 6 states that were disputed.
Oh God.
It never got executed, but there was a draft executive order created.
And they got it in their hands now, right?
Yep.
Wow.
So somebody thought about it.
Yep.
They wanted to do
Oh,
it.
he was serious. He was serious. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't.
The main thing that stopped it, I think, was the en masse threat of resignation at the Justice Department.
Do you think that stopped him?
I think it probably played on it somewhat, because that was one of the other things that we heard, was that the Justice Department, all of the muckety mucks in the upper echelons of the Justice Department, and not just the Attorney General, they all threatened to resign.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what I said before the whole thing started. I at one point, I think on this show, said I don't think he's going to leave without a fight. You know, I don't think he's going to admit it, that he lost. I mean, how can you not admit you lost when you lost by 5 million votes?
7 million.
One
Huh? 7 million.
that lost in Florida by 50 percentage points and won't concede for the House race.
Wow. Wow. Well,
69 to 19% or something.
but why is he still why isn't his ass in jail right now? What's happening? Why is nobody really going after him? They're just posturing.
They're grabbing the low-hanging fruit first, and the low-hanging fruit will cut deals to avoid jail sentences or that type of stuff, and they'll turn over stuff on Trump.
Well, I think what's funny is that his son Eric has turned over information that's going to get his brother and sister and father in trouble. It was the state attorney general, the New York attorney general.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing like trusting your family.
And he was supposedly the dumb one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, they always, with politicians, they always posture and say, boy, we're going to get the goods on him. Boy, we're going to get him in jail soon. Boy, we're going to take care of him, right? And then they never do. I mean, I remember when Cuomo got kicked out, they were all going, oh, we're going to go after him. We're going to go at what? Everybody's gone, okay, no more Cuomo. We don't need to go after him. Right?
Yeah, we got Kathy.
Well, no, the reason they got rid of Cuomo is the people who got rid of Cuomo were the people who were going to best benefit by him being thrown out of office.
Yep. And now they're not charging him, so he can run again.
Can he?
Why not?
Yeah, I don't know.
Charged with anything.
I'd vote.
He just resigned.
He resigned.
Yeah.
He can go back to running again, especially since he wasn't charged and convicted.
You know something? If he ran in the next election, I'd vote for him. You know.
Donate your old refrigerator to him.
Huh? Yeah, right. Donate my old refrigerator to him. Okay, fine. Fine. But I saw my super take this thing down in the elevator all by himself, like a 250-pound refrigerator.
Oh.
Man, how do you do that? And he's a short guy.
It's leverage.
New Yorkers, you know, they're all strong.
He had one of those refrigerator movers.
You know what they had when they came up from in the elevator with the thing? They had these straps around themselves, and the one strap went under and went over to the other guy who had the straps over his shoulders. They were just, you know,
human dollies.
Human dollies, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I could never do that for a living.
No.
You know?
I got a new refrigerator a couple of months ago, and that's how they brought it into my house, was with one of those mechanisms you're talking about, Alex.
Yeah.
And these guys look like they played the offensive tackles.
But why don't they just have like a hand cart, a motorized hand cart? I guess that's
Supposedly, I asked him about this, and he said they have more control.
Really?
That mechanism. They have more control, you know, moving it than you would with the dolly.
Yeah. It was like, I thought it was like, you know, mother puts a toddler on her front.
It also forces them to use their legs.
Really?
Yes. Makes them use their legs more.
Yeah, so they don't hurt.
Yeah, but how many years can they do that before they don't have legs left? You know?
Well, that's the way you're supposed to pick stuff up, you know.
So am I looking too orange tonight?
No.
Oh, okay, good. Because I turned my lights more orange. Because
you actually look, your skin tone looks better tonight.
Really? Thank you. So. Yours doesn't, but thank you.
I don't care.
Yeah.
About me.
Yeah. So anyway, back to Josh. Well, Josh, what do you think about all of this? Trump having to turn over the Supreme Court saying that Trump has to turn over his papers, which he did. He didn't put up much of a fight, you know.
Yeah, that was
Well,
no surprise.
it wasn't Trump turning it over. It wasn't Trump turning it over. It was the archive.
Oh, it was the archives. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, the National Archives.
Now, does he?
Yeah, well, they hold the records, the NARA.
But let me ask you
Whatever
this: did he have to turn those papers over to the archives?
Yeah,
Well,
they're
yeah,
automatically done.
there's official documents that get created by the White House, the executive branch, but in this case, the White House, like all the emails are logged and memorandums, all that kind of stuff, all gets logged, and then it goes at certain points based on what it was, and there's a lot of rules to this stuff. I've looked a little bit up before. It does go to the archives at some point, and then when the administration is done and closed out, it all goes over, and it doesn't get released for a certain period of time, again, depending on what it was and when it was written and all that. And then, the NARA goes through it or whatever, and with the help of some other agencies, they even keep, some of the stuff that was classified or whatever, but it just doesn't get released.
What happens? What happens though if
much goes into it?
What happens if the president wants it for his presidential library? Does he then request them from the archives?
Yeah, I mean they can either they'll have like a duplicate there, or if they want the original, some of them will be housed at the library. But all the presidential libraries now are basically operated and ran in conjunction with the National Archives, and they're basically like subsidiary or sub-branch or whatever you would want to call it of the NARA, the National Records Administration. And they run they don't run the libraries, but they sort of operate or run the archives side of the library, because the libraries now are more than just a room full of papers. The libraries are museums and learning centers, and all various sorts of other things that range from tourist type attractions, see a mock-up of the Oval Office as it was life size, to an actual separated room where you have to make an appointment, etc., to do research. A nice quiet room where you can go and view, in some cases, original documents and take pictures of them, photocopies, whatever, for research, for that kind of thing. And they work with the National Archives. But presidents have some power, as to things that they don't want to go out, like things with executive privilege and stuff like that. And then they can request those things not to be released until the law says that they have to be. And in some cases, some of that stuff is pretty long, like 50 years or 40 years or whatever it is. And then it doesn't come out a lot of times till after the president and a lot of other people have died. And, there's no one around anymore. We still get documents from the Kennedy administration now every once in a while. I mean, every other year or so, they'll put out another 500 documents from the Kennedy administration or whatever. Like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, they put out about a few hundred documents that were related to the week of the Cuban Missile Crisis, or the 2 weeks. And a lot of it changed some of the narrative in the historiography.
Is there somebody let me ask you, is there somebody at the White House, for instance, who, like, as soon as Trump writes something, he immediately takes the paper and puts it into a folder for the archives?
I don't know if it's done that way, but there's an entire office that does sort of do that. Yes. I mean, as far as I understand it, never worked at the White House, but that's my understanding.
Yeah, well, I'm just waiting to see.
There's a group of people that do that on a regular basis.
I'm waiting.
Almost the only way the president now, or the people that work for him, are going to keep these things out of the archive is to literally, like, scribble something to someone else, handwritten on a note, and then make sure they burn it when they're done with it or something. I mean, they collect almost everything now.
Wow.
So where's
probably good.
Where's the Trump library?
It's already been announced. It's going to be a newspaper stand in Orlando.
I was thinking a newspaper stand in Tijuana.
Yeah. I don't think he's even announced it, and I don't think he's going to have one. I bet she doesn't.
He'll have one. They'll have to have. I mean, there'll be something because the government allows an endowment for all of them, and that endowment is meant for the part of it that the government would have direct control over, such as the records, the archives, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then that endowment will operate that on a yearly basis. They will have a director there, a staff, and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then the presidents themselves, through whatever group they form, are responsible for what you would call the other half of it, which would be building this huge building that's like a museum. Again, you know what I'm saying?
And in that case, he gets people.
Stuff,
He gets people to give money to build it, right?
Yes.
Another super.
You know, and I mean,
no, the LBJ library.
Donald Trump is not going to pass up an opportunity to swindle some people out of money
and have another building.
To build a building with his name on it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he's fairly adept at that, so he'll probably be.
He's more adept at having
that.
people take his name off the buildings.
Yeah.
You know,
because I'm sure he'll have a library. You know,
because his entire business used to be, for the longest time, lending his name to buildings being built that he had nothing to do with building.
Yeah.
And now
a casino in the back.
No, now they're taking
I predict.
What did you say, Vernon?
It'll be the 18th hole of the Doral golf course.
Yeah. But the thing is that they now are taking the names off of his buildings because they don't want it. I knew a couple who bought a condo in a Trump building here on the west side, and all the neighbors got together after he was president and petitioned to take the name off the building, and they did. And
yeah, so
Trump,
in his library, will say the Library of the 45th President.
What?
It'll be about the size of a portable outhouse.
It won't say his name.
Really?
No, I'm just.
Oh, I see. I see.
Because they're taking his name off of everywhere
No,
else.
you know that whatever library he builds is going to have Trump's name in gold letters. You know.
Yeah, I mean they can kind of design whatever they want. If they raise money or pay for it themselves, I mean they can build pretty much. You know, the government doesn't really have any sort of like play or saying that or regulations or that I know of.
Yeah, is by the way, since you like historical sites, is Mar-a-Lago going to be the new Mount Vernon?
Probably not. I mean, maybe, but
after
probably
he becomes
not.
dictator, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll have something, but I mean, the case to turn the documents over. I mean, that's not really a surprise. I mean, look, they have to turn the documents over. I mean,
what?
I mean, you know, in a case where the government already has the documents rightfully, and you know, there's basically a subpoena or a court order. That kind. I mean, look, you know, I'm saying. I mean, Nixon lost that case a couple of times, so there was already, you know, no real legal way.
I think all that Trump was trying to do was stall things.
Yeah,
I'm sure, right? Yeah, but I mean, I think everybody
who dissented was the one Supreme Court justice who dissented was Thomas.
Yeah, Clarence Thomas. Yeah.
Clarence Thomas and Jenny Thomas, his wife, got hundreds of thousands of dollars from groups that were petitioning the Supreme Court to not release the documents.
She got money from them?
Yes.
Is that provable, and isn't that criminal?
I think she's a like a political activist, a fundraiser.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Well, she funded a lot of the travel expenses for all those people that descended on Washington January 6th.
Wow.
Yeah, really.
He's a piece of work, that's for sure.
That's why he should have recused himself from that whole case, is because his wife how is he going to be impartial?
Giuliani was on the news today talking about that he's got to talk in front of the January 6th meeting and stuff, and he says, I'm just going to, lawyer privilege, what do you call it? Client lawyer privilege. That only works, if I understand that right, when you're talking to Donald Trump back and forth. But when you talk to the public and say, go there and do this and do that, that isn't the attorney-client privilege. I think he's in deep shit.
Yeah.
Also, attorney-client privilege doesn't cover you for crimes. If you're a lawyer advising a guy on crimes, there's no attorney-client privilege.
Right. Yep.
Well, that's why most lawyers will tell you if you've been accused of something criminal, please don't tell me if you're guilty. You're guilty or don't confess to the crime to me, because then I have to abide by that and then assume your guilt and try and.
You can actually tell your lawyer that you committed the crime.
Yes.
Your lawyer can just not have witnessed the crime, or after the fact participate in it, or have participated in it at the time, or after the fact participate in any kind of cover up.
Well, in the case of Giuliani,
he doesn't have to tell any lies because the police aren't allowed to ask him about it. But I mean, you can tell your lawyer in confidence that I killed that lady or whatever,
That's right.
and
you probably wanted
to help me.
Well, in this particular case, wasn't Giuliani a witness to the crime because he was there helping him commit it?
That's where your conflict of interest will come in. Is your attorney could not have participated in it, witnessed it.
Yeah,
well, he was out there giving a speech, riling everybody up, if I remember correctly.
And attorney-client privilege doesn't apply to that.
Right. It also would not apply, I believe, to like third-party communications. So Donald Trump tells Charlie to tell Rudy Giuliani this. It has to be, I believe, direct communication. I believe direct communication. I mean, I don't think it covers, like third-party.
Doesn't cover hearsay
communication, or communication that would take place with basically like a third party in the room. So Charlie is in the room, and he's not a lawyer in any shape or form. No counsel, doesn't work for counsel, anything like that. He's just a fucking janitor or whatever that's in the, well, that would be working for the lawyer, whatever. And they discuss it. Then their lawyer should know better, I believe, and then that's it gets waived in that case, or he can answer questions about it, but the other two parties still can't. So I think it gets a little complicated here. I don't know. I don't have all that shit memorized. If there's a lawyer listening, I'm sure they could call him.
Yeah.
So in a criminal act, if you hire a criminal attorney to protect you, you're going to have to tell him what you really did.
Yeah.
And in order for him to build up a case for you, how they do it, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but yeah, Trump, as far as he's concerned, he's never committed a crime.
Well, I don't know. My personal lawyer is Jeff. Jeff's my personal lawyer. Hi, Jeff.
He's shaking his head. No.
He plays one on the Ramble, but his wife is one, so he can tell her things.
Yeah.
I know. I defer to her personally.
Yeah.
There you go. Smart man.
Well, is she still practicing?
Not really.
Yeah.
She does certain things to help people.
What was her expertise? What area?
Really environment.
Good. Good.
We can go after Trump for that too.
Yeah, for smelling up the environment. Yeah. But anyway, so anybody got any big plans for the weekend?
Umpire training.
Okay, this is what?
Umpire training tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And when do you have to go back to umpiring?
February 7th.
Really? So I lose you after that, right?
Yeah.
Every
Rain or snow.
What?
We'll pray for rain or snow in Austin.
Well, I mean, the days when you don't do it?
Yeah, if I get rained out, or if I only get the 2 nights that I asked for. I asked for 2 nights, and they gave me 4 last season.
Oh, okay. But what 2 nights have you asked for this time?
I usually ask for Tuesday and Thursday.
Why don't you try Saturday and Sunday?
or Monday and
They don't
Tuesday.
Well,
have games
Tuesday
on
and
Saturday.
Thursday. Tuesday's fine because I'm not on Tuesday. Okay, yeah, good.
Monday and Tuesday.
By the way, starting next week, Jack is going to 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And he will be going on at 10:30 on Monday and Tuesday for an hour, kind of taking over this time slot
Eastern Standard.
because I wave bye-bye to it because I am still working 4 days a week, but I have the Monday show, the pop-up, which has become very, very successful, and then the 3 days I do here. So actually, I'm probably putting in more hours than he's going to put in with 5 shows. Okay, because what's the 3 and a 3, 4.5, 5.5 that I'm going to be doing. So, you know. So Jack said I'd like to go in there and just be straight on 5 days a week, and I said fine with me. You know.
What is he now?
Huh?
4 nights?
He's 4 nights. Yeah, at midnight. But what he's going to do is Tuesday nights he's not going to be on at midnight. He's going to be on at 10:30. He's going to do
Monday and Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday. So that will be starting next Monday. And the exchange with Damian Chaplin will move on Mondays, but not next week because there's something that his landlord is fixing or something at his place that he can't do his shows. But he will go on at 9:30 Eastern time, and then go to 10:30, and then Jack will come on. So it'll be some company there, some programming there.
Do you have stuff still in his storage in the storage facility?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I still do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I had to put it somewhere. I mean, and I would. What do I do? Ship it across the country?
Yeah.
What's
you
in
know,
there?
and then once I get it, where do I put it? In another storage facility? You know, so it's better I just keep it there.
What's still in there?
I got most of the tapes, most of the audio tapes, but I have a lot of videotapes still there that I shot over the years. And what else? That's about it. You know,
Videos.
huh?
Yeah, videos.
Yeah,
right?
videos. Yeah. Which I would like to lay my hands on eventually. I mean, I'd like to get. In fact, I should call Damien and get him to send me some, because I do have the equipment to dub off all the old ones. I have a Super 8 machine here. I have an 8mm. I mean, I have all these different kinds of machines here that I can use to dub them off. But, you know.
Those any live 105 days?
Yeah, a lot of Live 105 stuff. Yeah, I shot a lot of
That stuff would be so cool to see.
Huh?
Stuff would be so cool to see.
Well, I have some of it is already online, oddly enough. One of my concerts that I did at the Great American Music Hall, I have on, what do you call it, Roku, on my Roku channel.
Are you paying for storage out here?
What?
Are you paying for storage out here?
Am I paying for storage?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, you got this at somebody's house or something.
No. I've got this in a storage facility out in California.
Right, but you're paying for the storage facility.
Oh, yeah, but you said here, and I said
Oh,
no.
here in California.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, in California, yeah. Yeah, I'm paying about 180 a month, you know.
Is it a lot of stuff? I have a big garage. I'd do it for you for free.
I don't know if this might fit in your garage, you know.
Yeah, but
Talk about it
isn't yours an environmentally controlled?
No, not really.
Oh no.
No, my old one was, but not the newest one. But I might talk to you about it if you're interested, you know.
I'll talk to you about it offline.
And you could talk to Damien and work the whole thing out, you know.
Where's Damien at?
Huh? He's in. Is this all in Petaluma? Is this all in Petaluma? No, Santa Rosa, I think is where.
Close enough to Petaluma. Okay.
Yeah, but you know, we can talk about it. But yeah, in my old age, my fans take care of me. Thank you very much. That's very nice. Yeah. So anyway, anyway, Jack will be doing that, and I hope everybody maybe will go and join him. It's not going to be video, however. because that's too much for me to teach Jack.
Yeah.
God, I wish you could teach him how to work Zoom.
Yeah.
Well, now here's the problem with Zoom. Okay, I could get him up and running on Zoom pretty easy, but the problem is that he has to have a place where he can put that address that people use to call. Okay, now I've got a Facebook page and I put it up there. I can probably put it up on. I've thought about it that it's possible for me to put it up on the Gabnet page, but everybody has to have that address, and in order to join the party, as it were. So to be able to get that out there is the biggest problem. But no, I could get him up and running, I think, on Zoom. But then again, he's also going to have to pay for Zoom too, like $15 a month, because you can't. I don't want him using mine because it can't be done. I could have him use mine, but once I sign off, I have to. It's too much trouble. So we have to have two separate accounts. So there are a lot of logistical things that have to take place in order for me to pull it off.
Not like Netflix where you can share the access.
Well, yeah. Well, you got to be careful about that. Don't share access with somebody in California, because there's one account that I'm sharing with Patrick because I wanted him to watch The Mandalorian. But I won't say, well, of course it's Disney now. I said Mandalorian. But they don't like you doing that. They hate that. Because, I mean, I can have as many people as I want, for instance, on the Disney Channel, on Disney. And Netflix, I don't know. I think I can have several people on that too.
Yeah.
Five?
I think it's like five.
Five? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so people are doing this and saying, okay, we'll just sign on using my name. And so, your Aunt Minnie out in wherever does it and gets away with it, But they don't like you doing it. They hate that. I think they're looking for a way that they can kind of stop you from doing that. I think
I'm sorry. If you got him on Zoom and he's tight on money, I'll pay for the first year. $15 a month. What do I care? $180 for a year.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah. I don't. I think he can afford it too. But I mean, it's a matter of that. It just logistically. First logistic is getting him to be able to use Zoom. Okay, that's the first logistic.
That's a big
the
deal.
Once we've gone past that barrier,
Well, he
it's.
gets on this show sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yes,
yeah.
Sometimes,
he
yeah.
does. Wait a minute. He does know how to use Zoom. That lying sack of shit.
Yep. Now I got him in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, I'd get him on Zoom. I could put the address on the Gabnet page. Have a separate one for his show and a separate one for
What I
my
do,
show.
I go to Gabnet and I click the link on the Gabnet page to get on this show.
Yeah, well, I would just change that thing so it says, Zoom here for
Yeah,
Jack's
number
show
one.
and Zoom here for Alex's show, and
Absolutely.
you'd be fine.
Yep.
Yeah. So, anyway, it's a problem with those logistics. And then, of course, I'm never going to be able to get him up and running doing the thing on video. I'm sorry. It's just
Tell him to call Alan. Alan will take care of it.
Alan.
Alan will be his IT.
No, Alan won't be his IT.
No. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many.
think
How many of you would know how to set up a show like this with Zoom and everything on?
Ryan.
Probably.
We do it every day.
The only way you could do it, I'll tell you the way you could do it, simply, is in Zoom. If you go down to the bottom of Zoom and you scroll across the page there, and it says More. What it says is you can zoom to Facebook or you can zoom to what do you call it? To YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah, and that will put the directly on, but you can't do any of the bells and whistles and stuff like that. Like I have graphics at the beginning of the show. It's more like my Monday show. The Monday show is done that way. Very simple. We could do it that way. He could get up and running on it that way. But then we'd have to get him a Facebook page and a YouTube thing. So, it's all, and then it's too much of a learning curve, and that's my problem with it. But anyway, let me see here. What else? Was there anything else in the news that I saw today? Nothing really. Same old stuff. You tune on all these news networks, and they're just running the same 5 stories over and over and over again.
I did hear one interesting thing on Stephen Colbert last week, Alex.
There was something interesting on Stephen Colbert?
Yeah.
Alert the press. What?
During his monologue, he said there was a study done in Austin, Texas, and there was such a thing as COVID dick.
Yeah, I saw that.
COVID dick?
They studied 700 people over a long period of time, and people who had COVID, men who had COVID, were 3 times more likely to have erectile dysfunction.
Yep.
That's funny.
Well,
also, they're also finding that kids that have COVID are much more likely to get
erectile dysfunction.
Diabetes.
What?
Diabetes.
Oh, diabetes. Okay.
Diabetes.
Really? Now, what if you've been vaccinated? Less of a chance of getting...
Less of a chance of getting
Yeah,
COVID.
and I got 15-pound balls, too.
Yeah, that little thing.
Those are volleyballs. What are you talking
Pick them
about?
up right now.
15 pounds. That's a volleyball.
Who was it that said that?
And you can throw your back out getting out of that chair, Kevin.
You betcha. That's why I sit here the whole time.
Who was the singer that brought up that she had a friend?
It's Cardi B.
Cardi B. Did she?
Yeah.
We haven't heard from her lately, have we? After that little.
You know what this is, don't you, Alex?
What?
You know what this is, right?
No.
I'm flipping you a bird with arthritis.
You watched Be Positive last
Be
night.
Positive,
You
yeah.
watched Be Positive last night. Yeah.
That cracked me up.
I'm flipping you, but I have arthritis.
Yep.
And then later on, somebody says something to her, and she goes like that. I love that show. I really love that show. I think it's a very well done show. And did you see his? Oh, this is a great one. He has these what they call vanity cards at the end of the show. He makes up these little cards, and they go by really fast. So you got to freeze frame your TV set, right? The one for this week read, "Screw it, Liz Cheney for 2024." Yes.
Maybe she'll run.
Well, could be. I mean, I couldn't vote for her. Could you? Come on.
So she was right on one thing. That doesn't mean she wasn't horribly wrong on all
Oh
the
yeah,
others.
I mean, she was a terrible person otherwise, but she got principles, okay? But that was only because everybody was attacking her for her principles. Anyway,
There was a thing going around that it was going to be Cheney and Kamala on the ticket for one point. That'd be a good one.
yeah. Hey, listen, there's our theme going at us here. Kevin, thank you so much. Always good to see you here. And of course, Charlie Wallace. Thank God there isn't any baseball right now. And Josh, thank you for being here and giving us your wisdom. Jeff, you look very relaxed down in Florida.
I am.
You are? Yeah, I am. Yeah.
I sat at the beach. I sat at the beach today.
Really? Wow. Do people have masks on? Oh, it's Florida. Forget it. It's a silly question. Alan, thank you. Thanks to Vernon. Everything good in Kentucky? Yeah. And just stay safe.
I'm trying to stay healthy, that's all.
Yeah, that's it. And Brian, oh, you look so professorial now with your newly acquired glasses.
This is amazing. I can see so clear, and the colors are so.
He just looks old.
Yes, well, This, you know why I do this? Not to see clearly. It hides the bags under my eyes. Anyway, everybody, give a big wave goodbye. I'll give a big wave goodbye at you, okay? There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizens panel. Yes, sir. And they're out of here, and so am I, folks. We'll be back again on Monday for the pop-up show at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. In the meantime, and then we'll be back, of course, again on Wednesday at 10:30. In the meantime, do what I always tell you. If you see her, tell her I love her. And please, wear a mask if you don't have the vaccination. If you do have the vaccination but you don't have the booster, get it, damn it. And we'll see you again on Monday with the pop-up show. Thanks for being here. Good night, everybody. Have a nice weekend.